Security Labs, and in today's live stream, we're going to complete a capture the flag machine called Symfonos. So if you're brand new, this is where we go through and attack a machine and learn ethical hacking hands-on live on our YouTube channel. And this time we're also trying on our Facebook group. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe. Let me make sure that everything is working here. You give me one moment. There we go. Let me make sure that everything is working here. Give me one moment. All right, so we are on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook group. So let me know if you can hear me in the comments. I'm very curious because this is the first time that we are live streaming to both platforms. And we have a live stream here where we're going to learn a few things. There's going to be some local file inclusions that we're going to learn, SQL injection using Burp Suite, testing, things like that. We're going to do some port forwarding to get remote access. So this is a very fun lab that we are going to be practicing with here. So this is really, really good. Let's make sure it worked on our. All right, it looks like the stream didn't go to Facebook. Let me make sure that it goes there. It was supposed to work. Come on. Let's see. Awesome. Thanks for saying that, Sharon. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to see why this didn't go to Facebook. Otherwise, we just continue on our YouTube channel for today. Then next time we'll bring it to Facebook. Or let me see if I can just edit right now. Let's view this event. All right. So if you haven't been here before, we do these live streams where we just attack a machine, then we get root access. And Symfonos 4 is I would say it's a medium machine because it's not super easy. But at the same time, there's a few skills that I think are going to be very helpful for us today that we can learn and actually utilize. So that's going to be really, really, really fun. And then we'll get root. So if you stick around, my goal is to do this in less than an hour. It's always challenging with live streams, but at least you get to see how I process things. So let's see. There we go. I have my Kali Linux here. This is running in VMware Fusion locally. Sometimes I use Parrot for my practice for the CAH, but right now it's just Kali Linux. So that's what we'll be using for today. If you have any desire to see Parrot in action, just let me know. They're not any different. I loaded my tools in Parrot as well. So I have all my folders organized in there, which is also really, really great. All right. Now that we are here, my machine is running in VirtualBox, this Symfonos machine. So this is actually in a different computer somewhere in the basement. I like my machines to be separate because I'm attacking this machine. So first thing is, let's restore this machine to the vanilla state. Let me power it off. We put it to the very initial state before I made any changes. I just tried it a little bit. I didn't do the whole test and everything. All right. Now that it's there, let's go to restore in the vanilla. So you always want to make sure that at least you take snapshots of your machine before you start attacking them, because when you do the attacks, you might actually result in a lot of instability. So that's why I am restoring it here. So let's go to normal state. What is garlic routing? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Right, our machine is starting, and as you can see right here on our screen, it says 192.168.30.19. That's our IP address. So we don't need to look for this machine. It's already showing us that it's on 192.168.30.19. So we're just going to be using that as our IP address that we're going to be attacking. So let's do that. All right, caption. Let's first ping the machine. .19. We have access to the machine, which is awesome. All right. Nmap minus SV. This is the time when we are doing some. So we're trying to find information about the machine as possible. And this time I'm trying to find the version information and using some default scripts. 92.168.38.19. All right. There. So that was really quick. This is part of our enumeration, like I said. So we have port 22, port 80, which is just a very attack surface for us. So what we can do is with port 80, let's just go ahead and fire up tools like this. This is a web-based, a GUI-based databuster. So let's go to HTTP 192.168.38.19. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be brute forcing some directories. These two databuster is going to show us if there's any directories out there that we can use, or actually just brute force. So let's do that right now and see. To do that, we will use a word list. Databuster has its own in the user share databuster. And my favorite one, if you've been on this channel for a long time, is the medium.txt. If I don't see anything here, I'll then go maybe for the bigger ones. But for now, let's use that. And I always like the file extension to be PHP. Let's start that. So we're brute forcing some directories on our machine, and let's check out the IP address and what's running there. Hello, BT. Good to see you, man. It's awesome to see you. All right, there we go. HTTP. Well, as soon as this lets me. Right now, it's still brute forcing the directories. All right. Come on. So my Kali Linux is becoming a little slow right now. Let me give it a moment here. Make sure that everything is working. So today we are actually exploiting a machine called Symfonos 4. And this is a machine that's going to teach us how to do local file inclusion testing. We're also going to do some tunneling. We usually do SSH tunneling. Today we're going to use a different method. Then we'll also do some SQL injection to see if everything is working. So this is a really fun machine. 192.168.38.19. So let's see what's running on our side. Whoa. Okay. So in the classic Symfonos way, we have this image here. And last time we saved these images, we tried to see if there's anything here. Today, I don't think we'll find anything here of any interest here. So what we can do, instead of doing anything with this image, let's rely on our results from the past year. We were brute forcing some directories. Let's see the list in the tree, maybe. All right. And it's faster. I'm going to give it 50 threads. This will make DBus go super fast. And then while it's running, I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining my live stream. I really appreciate everyone who joins. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please consider doing so. I'm in the process of going for the Certified Ethical Hacker Practical, which will be coming in the next 2 weeks. Then the OSCP. So I'm attacking a lot of machines on VounHub, Hack the Box, all these platforms. So that's what we're doing today. And in this case, I'm working on Symfonos for tonight. And I like to show people live because then you get to see how I think and maybe suggest some other things out there that might be helpful for me. So I'm not an expert, but I'm not a noob either. I've done more than 50 of these machines, if not 60. So I know my way around these machines. It's just that I need more practice. All right. So I'm seeing a bunch of things here. Interesting. I see manual images. So this usually takes a long time. So you want to give it some time for it to run and make sure that everything is working. All right, I'm going to stop this and I'll show you one that I know is there. So we don't have to wait all night here. All right, so there is a directory called c.php. which is this one. And I found this from running Buster. So I encourage you to run this. Just brute force some directories. But for the sake of our time here, so we're not here all night, this is what we have. And from here, we have a web page with a login page. We can check the source to see what's going on. Let's view the page source. We don't have any other interesting stuff other than the page. So what you want to do is maybe try to sign in. This page is not known, and just try the normal things: admin password, and all that stuff. Let's see, nothing. Okay, this is where I think there's a really cool tool that I wanted us to learn tonight, which is we can use SQL injection to test if this thing is vulnerable to SQL injection. And usually there's SQL injection word lists that we can find on the internet. But since I don't have that one today, I can try things like, let me show you what I have here in my enumeration section. All right. I have a SQL map. Do I have my SQL injection? Yeah, SQL payloads. These ones. You can use these and say admin and paste them in here. Something like that. And try it. Don't save. There. It worked. So if it doesn't work on the first trial, this is what I want us to try to do. So I just happened to pick one that works right away. But for the sake of learning, which is what we are here for, I want us to go and really figure out how the best way for us to do this is to use burp. And I'll show you what you can use for that for one. Like, so we can turn proxy on here and then turn pro. And we're going to try SQL injection in an automated way using our proxy burp. And remember, this week my goal is to really learn how to use burp in all kinds of ways. And this is one of the ways we can use burp suite for this. Let's set it on. And then from there, we can turn our interception on. Let's try something good here, like admin test. I'll show you why. Admin test. Then we can say login. Don't save. Then burp intercepts it. And since it intercepts it, we can now say, okay, let's forward this to intruder. And then we're going to use intruder to brute force. All right. In intruder, we're going for port 80. Our positions that we want to brute force, let's clear the positions. Then we come and we want to change this one and replace them with the SQL injection test. So let's add that. And also this test here. And add that. And this is us trying to automate the process of finding out if the page is vulnerable to brute force SQL injection or not. And I think it's really good. Let's use battering RAM and then our payloads. I have in my cheat sheet here. This is all some of the different ones you can try for SQL injection. And I think this is kind of neat. Then I can paste it in here. Then I can go all the way down here and say, in my options, if there's any redirection, I want to be able to always do that. Nice. So now we can use burp to start the attack. We're just testing out to see if this page that we found here is vulnerable to SQL or not. And that's what we're doing here. And I think this is really, really awesome. Look at that. Now we're testing the page and we're testing the different options. So this is sort of like an automated way. You don't want to be copying and pasting different options for testing SQL injections on our page. And look at that. What we are looking at here is the length. See, the length changed when we hit all these. Usually when length changes, that shows us that we hit either a success or something the page is responding differently. So we'll check these ones out as soon as it's done. Let's give it a moment. All right, it finished. So let's check. First, let's check these ones. We can check the response to see whether it succeeded or not. We can render it. This one is failing right now, but you can tell that this one is not the right one. We can see the raw one here. This one didn't work. This one where the response changed, that's where we're expecting something. Here we see that we saw location c.php, so this one worked. If we render it here, let me look at that. Render this one maybe. Okay, usually it can render in that place, but as you can see, this one seems to have worked. Yeah, we got more stuff here. So we can test now. We know that this one is vulnerable to SQL injection, and we can use this one. We can right click here and say add sitemap, no, but we don't want to do that. Copy curl command or request in browser. That's what we want to do. So we can say in original session or in current session. Let's do in original session. Then we can copy this URL and come in here in the browser and paste it. But let me disable my burp, my proxy here. Make sure that I can go there. So that can automate. You can automate SQL injection test, and if you do this, this should take us there. Wait a second. Oh, I disturbed my proxy before. I do this all the time. I don't know why. Let's bring up back our proxy. Let's then do this. Refresh. There we go. Let's repeat request. All right, let's do it again. So once you see that one works, we can say request in browser, then we can say in original session, and then you get a copy here, or you can just open it in future. Then we can paste. Let's do that. And if it's fast enough, we'll get our page. All right, burp is not responding properly here. Let me make sure things are working for us here. In the settings, there it is, working. But I hope you get the idea that we can actually just use burp to automate SQL injections, which I think is a really, really important skill for us to actually master right now, because there's more things that we can actually use this for, but that's one of them. All right, so now that we saw that it's this right here, we can just copy that and then come in our browser and make it happen. So that was the first part. Let me stop burp. Let's stop the interception here. And then go back to our site. See. All right. So on the site itself, we see that we have the option to select a guard here. And this is very interesting because it's asking us to select a guard. So let's select one. Zeus. All right. Then we get a description. Zeus is a god of the sky, lightning, and thunder in ancient Greek religion and myth. king of gods in the Mount Olympus, whatever. Okay, let's select a different god. So do we have anything interesting when we select gods? No. All right. What I see is that this right here is a dead giveaway for local file inclusions. So if you are interested in learning more about local file inclusions, one of the dead giveaway right away is when we have this equal signs here. So let's find out if we have local file inclusions. And this brings us to our lesson number 2 that I wanted to show us, which is we can, instead of just trying manually, we can use burp suite, just like what we did with SQL injection, to automate the process of finding out if this is vulnerable to local file inclusions or not. And we can also try to find out which parts of LFI is it vulnerable to, meaning which files can we access. We can just use burp and automate the whole process, and it's awesome. So let me close this one, which I showed you how to use SQL to find it. Then to do that, we need to use a word list. You can Google this. I have an LFI word list that is part of my cheat sheet. You can have your own, but if you Google LFI word list, you can also find one for yourself. There's all these files that usually, if you have LFI, you'll be able to find. So you can pretty much brute force the site until it finds one of these, and it will show you in Burp Suite. And I think that is super cool. But to make things easy for us, I'm only going to brute force on this short list here because I don't want it to take forever. It took about 2 hours or so last time I used this LFI list, but it's a really good list. I encourage you to have it. So what we can do is now come back here and say, okay, let's turn our interception on. And this reminds me, I need Foxy proxy. Okay, we have interception on. And then let's go back to here. And since this is vulnerable to LFI, let's choose a guard, Zeus. And there we go. All right, since we have Zeus here, then in the intruder tab here, we can see positions. What we want to do with LFI local file inclusion is, this is the parameter right here where it says Zeus. But before I do that, let me clear. And I hope you are learning something today. So we can do this and say dot, dot. I think I always put 4. And I can put anything here. I can put LFI test. It doesn't matter. What I just want to do is set this as the parameter that I'm going to be injecting, pretty much brute forcing. All right. With that parameter, I want to put a payload, just like what we did with SQL. I'm going to paste my payload here. So what this is going to do is it's going to try all these different options, all these known directories against our target machine. And if it hits one of these, and if one of these shows up as vulnerable, it will show us. And there it is. I also want you to show me if there's any redirects. So I want to come down here, always redirect, and let's start the attack. So I hope you're learning a little bit from Burp here. And I think this is pretty cool because I used to do my LFI injections manually. Then this came along. And as you can see, it's going. All right, so it finished. If I go up here, you see that I have the var log auth. It's a different length than the rest of them. And that's how you know that you hit something different. These ones, if you click on one of them, you'll know that, let me see if I can render this. No, it failed. If I look at these ones, you see that the connection was closed for this one. So all the 878 are closed, but this one for the auth, okay, that one also closed the connection, but it's a different length. So let's go ahead and check that one out. for auth, we can click there, and then I think I should be able to right click here and request in browser in the original session, copy that. And this time we should see what the page looks like. Come on. So today I'm trying this new streaming platform, Stream, and it's texting my computer. I can tell you. I usually use eCam, but right now I'm using Restream, so let me remove that. So if we request in browser, let's paste our connection. It's getting a little slow. My Kali is getting a little slow, which doesn't happen that often. So now if I do that, you know what? I know what it is. Let's go back here. We saw that var log auth is vulnerable. Let's go to it manually. It's an easier and faster way to do it. Let's turn interception off. We could have forwarded this, but let's just say the proxy interception is off. So we know that we can come in here and say it is bam. And I was able to know that this is the location by using burp and seeing this difference in length here. So this is a really cool skill that I think is going to be very, very helpful for me to keep in my bag of tricks. As you can see, I have a whole list that you can go after right here. And the good idea is you just press this list and let it run for an hour or so, drink some coffee or do something else. But this is a whole list of all the different options that we can brute force for local file inclusion vulnerability. I've done this several times on my Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel, local file inclusion. And if you're not familiar with it, it's just a way where site is vulnerable to a point where is my LFI? Like here, where it's showing us information that's on the server itself, because there's this vulnerability right here. So with this LFI, you will notice that this is a log file for SSH connections, which is really interesting because we can see it right away that it's showing us all the failed connections. And if you do a little bit of research about this specific file, there is a concept where we can poison this file. Since it's showing us all the different types of SSH logins and how they failed, we can give it wrong information pretty much and just say, hey, here's some code. It will execute it in here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Using SSH poisoning, let me see if I have it in my cheat sheet here. Is it part of my enumerations? No, it's part of my exploitation. Yeah, LFI poison to get SSH command line. If we have that log file, remember, it's if we have that log file. So we can say SSH, but then put this PHP code here. We're pretty much getting a command line and say, hey, get me a command line. And then we can put the IP address of our machine. In this case, the IP here is going to be 192.168.38.19. Right. So everything looks good. I want this to be there. That's how we're going to poison that SSH log file. And this is a really, really cool trick. I think you're going to like this one. So you see that we can see these results, right? Watch what happens when I try that. Let's open a new one. All right. It's going to say, are you sure? Yes. The password, let's just give it anything. We know this is not going to work. We're just trying to poison the log file pretty much. This is why you don't want to give people access to your log file through that site. Okay, let's Control C. I might have done it a little bit too much. I did it once. So now if I refresh this, I should see that failed connection. You see the log file got bigger. Let's see where I was doing that. Here, I was failing a couple of times here with an invalid user from my Kali Linux right here. Okay, that's good. Then all we need to do is, now that we know that we can get there, we need now to abuse this file. Instead of going there, we can now try to see if we can just abuse it by saying, I think we can do this, and command equals to, let's say, print working directory. That works. All right. You see right here, it did execute our command right here. var www.html, that's our directory. Let's try ID. ID, see that? This is the result of us doing executing the ID command. So this is our local file inclusion vulnerability that we exploited. And this is what makes this super exciting for me. You see the steps that we took here? We poisoned a log file. After poisoning a log file, we now have the ability to execute commands in here. And after having the ability to execute commands in here, we can now get our reverse shell. If we've watched my previous live streams, you know that we can get a reverse shell here pretty easily, very easily. I can show you in my cheat sheet. I've used this multiple times now. In our reverse shells, we can just go and append this right here. This Python reverse shell, one-liner, and this should give us a reverse shell. And this time I'm going to be going to my Kali Linux on port 4242. So let's use that. So instead of ID, I'm going to paste that one-liner reverse shell. But before I execute that, let's listen. Cat minus LV and P 4242. BTA, I hope you're getting really good at this stuff because you have been here on almost all my live streams. You have seen this multiple times so far. All right, now let's refresh this and see if we get our reverse shell or not. If it doesn't work, we might have to do it again. Did this work? No, it hasn't worked yet. Let's try it again. Let's close that, close that. All right, so what I want to do is let's replace this with our PHP reverse shell one more time. No, this is not a PHP reverse shell, it's a Python. I don't know why I'm calling it PHP reverse shell. All right, now let's go there. There it is, it's hanging, boom. Now tell me that is not cool. That to me is really satisfying to see. We went there, we abused the local file inclusion, we poisoned the log file, we put a reverse shell, and now we're in, and we're in as www data. So let's fix this shell very quickly here. Make sure that it works for us. I think this is worth our time, guys. All right, now we have a reverse shell. All right, so if I do an if, I'm in here, I'm just trying to check things out. Robots.txt, I have gods. I bet you the gods folder shows us all those gods that we were looking at. Here they are. Yeah. Same information that we saw in the browser when we were reading. Oh, come on. I cannot clear. That's okay. I usually like to clear my screens, but hey, I can survive this one. All right, Atlantics.php, those are all gods. That's not going to help me in my case here. Sudo -l. No. Ha! We do not have the sudo privileges this time. This time we might have to do things a little different, which is okay. We're okay with working, but hey, I need my ability to clear my screen. I compulsively clear my screen. So let's make it happen. I need to be able to clear my screen. I can't live without it. So I'm going to fix it. And why this is not part of my cheat sheet, I'm not sure. But this is what I do every single time. And the first result is going to be a Stack Overflow result. Oh, never mind. First result, Stack Overflow. Let's fix it. And for the sake of those who have been here for too long, I'm going to add this to my cheat sheet so you don't see me coming here again. It's the X term thing. I think it's this one. Without color though. All right, there we go. Can I clear my screen? Yes. All right, so for the sake, I'm going to edit here because I do these next to each other. So next time, I'm just going to copy it from here. All right, let's go to home. I cannot even go. Temp4. Let me see if I can get in here. Good. I'm going to run enumeration. Sure. Okay, it's located here. So what I like to do is maybe let's just cd to that location and host it. Right, so I want this linear_num.show. This is an automated way for us to find out what's vulnerable on the target without any troubles. And the reason why I moved to the temp folder is because I know that most of the time I can write to the temp folder. So because of that, let's host our Python simple HTTP server here. See if I have it. I have it here. All right, I want it to listen on port 8080. So let's call 181. Oh, come on. Oh, address already in use? Seriously? Who is listening on port 8080 right now? Let's listen on port, shall we say, 4444. Right. We're saving our file. This is how you transfer files from your Kali Linux to your victim machine. See, HTTP. I hope that wget works. Otherwise, we'd have to find a different way. 133, that's our Kali Linux. Then enum.show. All right, that worked quick. Now, if I do an ls here, I move to this file. I might have to give it execution. Let's just do that. Right, now let's run it. Let's see if this is going to find anything for us. So we're using an automated tool to just find all kinds of stuff on our victim machine, which is awesome because then we don't have to work as hard. Why work harder when you don't have to, right? So as you can see, we're finding a lot of things. We just have to now do the needful and go and make sure that it works. All right. So if you're just getting here, we're in the process of exploiting a machine called Symfonos 4. I highly encourage you to go and watch the previous tab. We automated the SQL injection test to find out if the site was working or not. We found a directory using Daybuster. We automated SQL injection and we found out that it works using Burp Suite. Then after that, we automated local file inclusion test, which found us that var log auth is vulnerable, as you can see. Then from var log auth, we found out that it's a log file for SSH. So we poisoned SSH using a pretty neat skill that you can find. I think it's in here, where you can just SSH and get a command line from the browser. Then from the browser, which I think this is so far my favorite machine, I have to tell you. Then from the browser, we were able to get a reverse shell by just putting in our simple Python code for reverse shell. We tagged this in the command line for the browser. And then after getting that reverse shell, we're in here and we just ran lean enum. Lean enum is a tool that you can use to automatically scan our system and see what we have here. So we have, it shows us who can read and write things. And as you can see, these are the permissions. What I'm looking for here is, can I, as www data, read any of this? I can't. There's kinds of things, right? Of course I can, because this is my file. We need to keep going. And you need to get familiar with these results and normalize them. See what you can. Quickly look through them and test a few things. Nothing there. And this can be painful, or you can do manual tests as well on our victim machine. It's up to you. Okay. Okay. This is it. Let's keep going. Wait a second. Listening TCP. Remember our nmap results? Our nmap results didn't have port 8080. And if you look at this one, we are listening on port 8080 and we're also listening on port 3306. That is very interesting. That's an interesting find. So if you're running linear enum, always stop by these. And when someone is running local ports that are not exposed to you, you need to be able to find out what is running on those ports. Why are they not exposed to you? There may be some containers that are running that just don't have containers exposed or something like that. Are they running some special application that listens on localhost? And today we're going to learn yet another fun tool, which is port forwarding. So since this is a local port that is here, we need to access this port, but we can't. But hey, no problem. We can get to it. We can get to it through port forwarding. And I've shown 2 videos so far, if not 3, where we can do port forwarding using SSH port forwarding. We can try that. So we're on local host here. So let me go back to my cheat sheet. Is it part of exploitation or reverse shells? Tunneling. SSH tunneling. Here's an article that I have for us that we can look at. Really helpful. Very, very, very important. So we can use SSH here to listen on a local port and forward it outside and all that good stuff. But the problem that we have is we don't have a user who can SSH. We got this reverse shell using the browser. So we cannot use SSH in this moment, unfortunately, because our user doesn't have SSH access. At least we don't know what the SSH password is. So because of that, we have to go with another alternative. And if you looked in my cheat sheet here, we have a second option, which is socket. The only thing is we need to make sure that it's running. It has to be running, otherwise it won't work. So what we can do is socket TCP listen port to Kali. So let's put this port to Kali to be what port to run here? 8484. That's the port that we'll listen to when it gets out to Kali. And local port, we found out that it's 8080. Always remember that. Now we need to make sure that socket is running, and if it's running, we listen on that. So that's another tool. So if you knew about SSH tunneling, this time we're using socket. And I know it's running was it's there. Watch what happens. Then we can do this. All right, so now that we did that, if we go back to our Kali Linux, we can see this port 8484. Let's go and see if that's actually going to work. Boom. All right. It's amazing. This is awesome. I mean, this is amazing. So it redirects us to who am I, and cookie set post join, whatever that means. Main page, where does that take me? Main page takes me to here. Welcome to post join. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. What is going on? Nothing. Let's go back here. What's going on here? Okay. Cookie set and post join. All right, let's go back to burp. Interception on. Let's find out what's going on here. He's talking about cookie set. Let's check that cookie. Looks like a hint to me. Okay, we're still listening. Let's refresh this page and go check out the cookie that they're talking about. All right, so intercepting that request in burp. Look at that. Username is this thing here. It's a base64 encoded username. You know because it looks like it. So let's copy that. Last time I tried to use the decoder here, it didn't work very well for me. So let's see if it works this time. Decode is base64. All right, yes. We decoded the cookie, which explains why they had that page. And he's saying pi.object. So we need to familiarize ourselves with this thing, whatever this is. Pi/object. What is that? It's Python something. Google to the rescue. I need to know which part of Python writes things like this. All right, thank you guys for the feedback. I appreciate it. All right, let's make things a little easier for us here. I don't want to waste too much time showing you the research process here. But so far we found out that our site has this cookie with a username that is base64 encoded, and it looks like it's taking it that way, right? It's taking a base64 encoded cookie with a username in pi.object format, which is not a problem because we can use that. Since it's reading this encoded stuff, we can put our reverse shell encoded and then try to see if we can access it that way. And to me, this just blows my mind. I think it's the best so far way of exploiting the machine. And I will always remember this attack because I found out that I can put this pi.object in place of that pi.object and be able to exploit this machine, which I think is really, really great. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. If I go back to my decoder, I have my pi.object. Instead of my decoders, I want to say encode as base64. Do I use this part or the second one? No, not that. Let me show you mine. And I'll explain what it's doing here in a second. All right, so here's the new encoded. That doesn't look right. Base64. Right, so here is another Pi object that I can put in there. I found you can do some research on this stuff, which is really awesome. But what you can do is you can encode this, and right now it has a reverse shell to my machine. But no, this is wrong. I need it to be to my Kali Linux machine 133, not my victim machine. And why don't we listen on a more interesting port? 8484. No, I think I'm already using that. 8844. Now it's just a matter of, am I doing this right? Encode properly. This is my text to a hex. Okay. I think this is it. Yeah. Now I'm seeing the last equals here. So this is my decoded payload. And guess what we can do with burp with this? We can just copy that and then forward this. And if we forward this, we should now be able to get a reverse shell. And isn't that kind of interesting? Now tell me that is not cool. Come on, guys. This is awesome stuff. All right, so let's do it, and I can explain it if people are wondering what I'm doing here. What I'm saying is we found out that this site has this Python object that is encoded. So we come in, we replace it, we encode something else, and since the server is already processing it as the user, we can try to see if that will also process our reverse shell. And let's start a new tab here. So netcat minus lvnp 8844. I think that's what I had in there. 8844. Right, and I hope I can copy that. So I can go back to my proxy. Let's forward this to intruder because we want to mess with things. Let's go to intruder, positions. Let's clear the positions. So here's more practice for intruder, right? Can I just remove this and paste it here instead of setting it as a position since I'm not doing anything? Oh, no. I didn't want the whole thing. I want this in an encoded form. So let's remove it. looks like my shorthand works. Now, if I go back to intruder, I want it to be here. Command V. Bam. Okay. Now, I should be able to use this, and if I say start the attack. Oh, no, go back. Did I just not do this right? You know what? I think I can do it here. Then I can forward this. And V. Let's see. Keep an eye on this one. You see if it changes right up here. Let's hope it works. I haven't done this ever in my life, so you are watching things live. Yes, it worked. It worked, guys. This is amazing. All right, ID, root. Oh, that warm and fuzzy feeling of getting root using some really exciting stuff. Okay, I'm not going to even bother fixing this terminal. I just want my proof.txt. Boom. So we got it. And this has to be my favorite machine because the little things that we learned here are amazing. I think we saw different things like using burp suite, and our ability to just burp is amazing. I think that I need to spend more time with burp, like you see this one. Because these are like some clever ways of doing things. We forwarded a port using socket instead of our normal net, and then we also did some proxying here. So we got this machine, guys, and this was very quick too, quicker than we normally do things. So we got root. Just a quick here before people go away. We learned things here, and I can show you my cheat sheet here. We use socket instead of SSH tunneling to listen to get a port that we found that was running locally using enum, which is a very simple process. Get it there, give it patience. Then no, I did today in the enumeration phase. What did I do? Yeah. Then we use simple Python, simple HTTP. So if you really like these attacks, you know, in the comments. I live stream on 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and today I'm just learning more things. And so far, I have two tricks in the bag: Socket, Burp Suite for automating SQL injections, Burp Suite for automating local file inclusions enumeration using this word list right here. I encourage you to have this word list handy. If you see an LFI, instead of just testing for the common ones, just fire this one. I think it's the best list I have seen so far. It will make a lot of sense. And you can even try SQL map as well. We did SQL map, was it yesterday or the day before? So this is amazing stuff. Thank you very much for joining today. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. I'm live streaming even more now. So I'm hoping that you can benefit a lot more from my live streams as well. But otherwise, guys, this is amazing stuff. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or email me or other ways. Otherwise, I just want to keep this short and sweet. Thank you. See you later.